I know that The Last 5 Years is especially popular in the theater community. However, I have to admit, I've never really enjoyed the show for a couple of reasons. One, the main one being I always get confused with the timeline thing that they do. I mean, if you don't know the show, you need to know this going into it. But the show has two different timelines telling the same story. And one timeline from one character's perspective moves in chronological order from the start to the end, but the other character goes through the story of their relationship from the end to the beginning. So it goes in reverse order. And the characters never sing with each other until they meet halfway through. And that's also around the same time where I start getting confused about the timelines. I feel like I'm fighting anesthesia when I go see The Last 5 Years. I'm always like, all right, I'm focused. We're in this timeline. Now we're in this timeline. Now and I'm lost. Like it just, all of a sudden I'm out. They do provide this cute little flyer to help fix that issue. But here's what I have to say about this. One, this wasn't that helpful. I think the way that it is laid out actually makes it a little bit more confusing. Also, I feel like if you have to give people a handout like this, you already should know that something's not working when it comes to making the story clear for audiences. I felt the same way when there was a flyer in my playbill for Romeo and Juliet. And the same thing happened here, where people were kind of using this as a guide throughout the entire show because it felt a little confusing. I mean, the production does some tricks to help fix this problem or to help make it more clear whose timeline we're at and when that is in the relationship by playing with lights. I mean, I did like the light design by Stacey DeRosier. It was nice. They do choose to highlight one of the characters in like warm tones, and then they give the other character and their timeline cool toned lighting. The costumes and hair, they do try to play with that to keep us on track. Although I loved the costumes by Dee Iyite and the hair and wigs by Mia Neal, Adrienne Warren and Nick Jonas looked phenomenal. I don't think that the costumes were successful, though, in helping us stay on track of whose timeline we were in and why. There was some inconsistencies when it came to this stuff, especially Nick Jonas's glasses. I didn't like the glasses. I think they made things a little bit more confusing when it came to the timeline. My other issue with the show is that I don't like this couple. I know that's the point of the show. You're supposed to see the faults in their relationship, and I get that. But I oftentimes feel like I am this random friend of theirs that doesn't want to be brought into their relationship troubles. The show is called The Last 5 Years because it's 5 years of their relationship. I'm always surprised that they make it past year one. That's, mostly because of how they sing about each other and their reasons for being in this relationship. It's not great, but I find that not only am I not rooting for this relationship because I know that it's going to end badly, I feel like I'm stuck on a ride that I can't get off of when it comes to the show itself. Now, listen, I know a lot of people love this show. I feel like at one point in my life, if I come back to it, I'll probably have another greater appreciation for it. I definitely appreciate the music. I mean, Jason Robert Brown's music is gorgeous. And the orchestrations, I did hear that the orchestrations are different, or some things are newer, and it sounds beautiful. This is like quintessential Jason Robert Brown for me. When you think of him, this is one of the first shows that I think of. And I think that director Whitney White does a great job and recognizes the importance of highlighting the music in telling the story. Not only does she make a really nice choice to feature the orchestra on the stage, they're on scaffolding, which also does really well at helping the stage itself not to feel so empty, because it is such an intimate show. It's only 2 characters, 3 if you count the pianist during Kathy's audition sequences. I thought that was funny. I like that a lot. Going back to the music, she does make the good choice to have them up on the scaffolding. And then sometimes when an instrument is more prominent in a song, she will have the musician come forward to the edge of the scaffolding and play. It's nice. It's nice that they highlight the music. Kathy does stand up there at one point. I felt that Adrienne Warren did a fantastic job in this role. I'm a huge fan of Adrienne Warren ever since I saw her in Bring It On years ago. I really liked her performance of a part of that. During the times that I have seen the song performed, I've always seen it as a way to highlight Kathy's jealousy of Jamie in this moment because of his newfound success, and she's comparing the trajectory of her career path. However, here, I felt like the emphasis was more so on her being a part of Jamie's life and saying, all right, your success is my success. Her performance really made me consider what it is to support a partner in their successes, which Jamie unfortunately does not do for Kathy in return. Even though her career trajectory is on a much slower path than his is, we don't see him pay that same respect back to her. I mean, he even leaves her on her birthday to go back to New York to, I forget, I think he's going to a party for his or something. I was like, dude, I don't know how they lasted 5 years. I am going back to that. I find it unbelievable. Nick Jonas as Jamie, I was excited to see him. I'm a big fan of Nick Jonas and his brothers, of course. I do feel that the character isn't quite there yet. His Jamie is a bit nerdier than I would imagine. And I think that is a nice touch. Like, I do like seeing that as a change. Again, I think the glasses were doing a lot of work here. Nick Jonas does okay. I found Jamie to be a little bit bland in this production. I mean, he's not supposed to be a great person. You know that the relationship is going downhill when he first meets Kathy, and he's like, the only thing that he really liked about her is that she is not a Jewish girl, that she's not the type of girl that his parents would typically set him up with. And I'm like, that's it. Red flags all around. Here is a view from my seat. I was in the rear center dress circle, so there was a balcony above me, which did overhang. I have a feeling if I was sitting one row behind in the last row of the dress circle, that like the top of the scaffolding where the orchestra is, I feel like some of their heads would be cut off. Other than that, it didn't really affect anything. It's again a small 2-person show, so I was totally fine with it, except for the horrible legroom. Boo. Awful legroom. I felt so let down from the Hudson Theater because I saw Once Upon a Mattress there and my legroom was incredible. I could see people in the orchestra in those seats that I was sitting in, and I was so jealous. I was like, you don't know how good you have it. But the legroom in the dress circle, bad. Let me know if you also had that issue as well. So should you see The Last 5 Years before it closes? I mean, obviously, if you are a fan of The Last 5 Years, it might be worth seeing. It is the first time the show is being staged on Broadway, so that's really exciting. If you are more of a casual fan, but your interest is piqued by the show, keep in mind the 2 different timelines. That's important. But also, just go in expecting that it is more of an intimate show. It is less flashy than some of the other options that are currently on Broadway as well. It's only a 2-person show. There's very little. I don't think there's any dialogue, or there's very little dialogue. It's all sung through. So just keep that in mind. That might not be appealing to some. Those are my thoughts on The Last 5 Years, now playing at the Hudson Theater until June 22nd, 2025. The Jonas Brothers are going on tour beginning in August. So if they do extend this production a little bit more into the summer, I don't think it's going to extend that much further. And I doubt that they're going to recast the role and extend the production even farther out than that. So I would take June 22nd as the official closing date. I would love to read your thoughts in the comment section below. I would also really appreciate it if you gave this video a thumbs up. And don't forget to check out some of my other reviews and theater-related content on my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and remember to stay off your phone while at the theater.